Have you ever felt like your brain's been running a marathon and you forgot to invite your body? Yeah, I've been feeling that same way recently. This week, I'm talking directly to those of us who are just tired, not just physically, but mentally. The kind of tired where even getting out of bed and staying out of bed feels like a win, and yet we still show up. Today's episode isn't about productivity. It's not about hacks. And it's not about morning routines. It's about grit, grace, and what it really means to keep going when you feel mentally drained and emotionally zapped. So if you're running on empty, you're in the right place. And to help you refuel, I'm going to walk you through 5 simple things from my own routine that are a huge part of living 95 that have kept me grounded, even on the days when motivation is completely checked out. These aren't magic tricks. They're realistic, repeatable, and they work. And number 5, you don't want to miss it because it's the one that brings everything together. So let's get into it.
You're listening to the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast, where we cut through the noise and get straight to what really works for real people. This is more than just losing weight. It's about gaining life and doing the things you never thought you could do, building lasting confidence, and creating a body and mind you truly love. I'm your host, John Adams. I've spent years refining a transformative, sustainable plan that's realistic, balanced, and proven to work. And I'm on a mission to share the strategy that changed my life and help others build the life they truly deserve.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, John Adams, and this is where we get real about what it takes to build a healthier, happier, more balanced life without all of the extremes. Now, let me ask you something. What if real growth doesn't happen when you're on top of your game, but when you're just barely holding it together and you still choose to show up? That's the part nobody celebrates. It's the part that changes everything. In this episode, I'm going to pull back the curtain on how I've kept moving forward, even when my motivation was gone and my mental battery was completely drained. Not with hacks or hypes, but with real tools that I've built and learned on my Living 95 journey, and especially these past few weeks. Ones that might just help you too. And near the end, I've got something that I've been waiting to share, something that I've been quietly building behind the scenes. And I can't wait to see where this takes our community moving forward. Now, I know some of you have been listening to my morning motivationals, and you may already know where I'm going with this, but just hang tight. You're going to love it. Now, let me be completely honest with you. These past few weeks have wiped me out between long nights, tech hiccups, and second guessing every design decision. Building this exciting new addition to our community took a lot out of me. And while I'm insanely proud of it because I did it all on my own, I didn't pay anybody to help me build it because, let's just be honest, I don't have the cash for that right now. But by the end of it all, I was spent. Not physically. I mean, sure, I was tired, but this was deeper. My brain felt like it was buffering. I'd sit down to focus and nothing would come out. No creativity, no motivation, just this mental fog that made everything feel like a chore. And here's the part that a lot of you already know. Outside of this podcast, other content, and the exciting new additions to this community that I've been building, I work full-time driving rideshare. Hence all the keep driving forward references that I use. Now, I know some people might hear this and think, okay, but how hard is it driving Uber really? But let me tell you, this job drains you in ways that you do not expect. It's not just about sitting behind the wheel all day. Although that does kick you in the teeth sometimes, it's the emotional load, the conversations, the energy that you give out. Sometimes you're not just the driver. You're somebody's sounding board, their therapist, their safe space in a chaotic day. You're holding space for other people's stress, their sadness, their joy, and their frustration hour after hour. And that takes something out of you. Honestly, it's more exhausting than any physical job that I've ever had. That kind of fatigue doesn't just show up in your muscles. It shows up in your mind. It was hitting hard last week. And I'll be real with you. For a moment, I thought about completely skipping this episode. I figured nobody's going to mind. I'll just double up on it next week. But then I remembered something that I say to people all the time. And I just had to take my own advice. Living 95 is not about being perfect. It's about showing up. And that message really hit home for me when a follower reached out to me personally and asked, "Hey, where was your moving in the morning videos on Wednesday?" You see, me and my wife, Cindy, we took a much needed break last Wednesday. We stepped back for a day from everything going on in our life, between her side of her family and my side of the family, and just everything going on. It's been a lot. So we just completely stepped back and we took some time for ourselves. I didn't post, I didn't drive. And because I didn't drive, I just wasn't up early in the morning. And I didn't record a moving in the morning video. But that message from that follower, that one follower who had made moving in the morning part of his morning routine every morning, Monday through Friday, he noticed. And it reminded me that we're building something here. It's not just noise, that it matters. It actually hit me hard because, quite honestly, I was beginning to wonder, is anybody listening? And that really showed me that this is not just a mic, that this is not just a camera. It's a connection and it's accountability. So I did it. I'm here. I opened the mic, not just because I felt super inspired or energized, but because I knew someone out there needed to hear that this part, this messy, tired, real part, is still part of the journey too. Not every win is going to be flashy. Sometimes the win is I kept going, even when it would have been easier to sit this one out. And that's what today's episode is all about. Me showing up with you in the mess, in the mental fatigue, and in the fog, because maybe you're in the fog too. And if you are, you're not alone. Now I want to walk you through the 5 real things I lean on when my tank is low, but the mission still matters. These aren't hacks. They're not magic. They're not going to fix everything overnight, but they keep the wheels turning. They're the habits, the anchors, the mindset shifts that keep me from spiraling when the noise gets loud and the energy runs out. And pay real close attention to number 5, because it's the one that pulls the rest together. It's the reason that any of these work in the first place. Number 1, lower the bar on purpose. When I'm mentally spent, the first thing I do is lower the bar. And no, I don't mean giving up. I mean adjusting my expectations to match my current capacity. Because burnout often comes from trying to operate at 100% when you're running at 10%. So instead of forcing myself to crush a massive to-do list or chase peak performance, I ask myself one question: what does showing up today look like? Sometimes it's editing an episode or a piece of content, even if I'm not in the zone. Sometimes it's taking a walk and meditating instead of working out. Sometimes it's just not quitting. And that's enough. Living 95 was never about being perfect. It's about giving yourself permission to scale back without giving up. Because momentum doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from consistent, imperfect steps, even tiny ones. Number 2, I anchor my day with one non-negotiable. When your mind feels like it's running in 10 different directions or just stuck in neutral, you need something solid to ground you. That's where the non-negotiable comes in. For me, it might be drink a full glass of water before my caffeine. Listen to a 5-minute mindset podcast. Take 10 minutes outside. No phone, just breathing. On days when the wheels are falling off, I ask myself, what's the one thing that if I do it will make this day feel like progress? That one thing becomes my anchor. It reminds me that I'm still in the game. It builds trust within myself. It creates just enough structure to stop the spiral. Because when everything feels heavy, consistency doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. Number 3, remind yourself that rest is not quitting. And let me be real with you. This one took me years to understand and grasp, especially as a type A personality. That's why I found myself living an all or nothing lifestyle for so many years. It just came naturally. For the longest time, I believed rest was weakness, that taking a break meant I was falling behind, that if I wasn't grinding, I wasn't growing. But here's the truth that I've had to learn the hard way. Rest isn't the enemy of progress. It's a vital part of it. When you're mentally fatigued, your brain is asking for space to process, to recover, to reset. That doesn't mean that you've lost your motivation. It means you're human. So now when I feel that wall creeping up, I don't guilt trip myself. I listen. I give myself permission to pause, not to quit, but to catch my breath. Sometimes that's a nap. Sometimes it's sitting quietly with no agenda at all and just meditating. Sometimes it's just turning off the noise and letting myself be. Because burnout doesn't come from working too hard. It comes from never allowing yourself to stop. Number 4, I focus on the micro wins, not the massive goals. When your mind is running on fumes, big goals feel impossible and then you just quit. That's that all or nothing mindset. If I can't do it at 100%, I'm not going to do it at all. That is the wrong attitude. Here's a few things that can cause that. All or nothing. Lose 50 pounds. Launch the next part of my community. Fix my whole life at once. Yeah, cool. But what about today? What about just getting through this moment? When I'm mentally spent, I shrink the frame. I zoom in on the next right thing, not the whole mountain. Did I check in with myself, even for 60 seconds, and understand what I'm feeling? Did I send a quick text message to someone that I care about just to stay connected? Did I say one kind thing to myself, out loud or even just in my head? Those tiny wins, that's the work. That's the rewiring, and they compound. They build momentum, and they remind you that you're not broken. You're just building, because forward is forward, even if it's a slow crawl today. And that's Living 95, stacking small moments of alignment instead of chasing the illusion of having it all together, not chasing perfection, but stacking consistency. And that leads us to number 5. Are you ready? Remember why you started in the first place. When everything feels heavy, when your brain is foggy and your heart feels flat, this is the anchor that holds you. Your why. Not the polished one that you post on social media every morning when you're doing your morning motivational to get everybody excited, but the real one. The one you whisper to yourself when no one's around. The one that kept you going before everyone even noticed. For me, it's remembering that I was once that guy, stuck in the cycle, burned out, chasing quick fixes, spiraling through diets and doubt, and watching my health completely crumble before my eyes. Then one random rideshare passenger changed everything with 2 little words. Stop dieting. That seed planted a movement, and every time I feel mentally wiped, creatively empty, or like I've got nothing left to give, I go back to that moment, that mission. Because Living 95 is not about showing up perfectly. It's about showing up with purpose. And yeah, some days that means writing a podcast script when I really should be sleeping because I wake up at 1:30 in the morning. Some days it means pressing record when I don't feel ready. But it always means coming back to this. I'm not doing this to be impressive. I'm doing this to be honest, to remind someone out there, you, that you're not broken. You're just getting started. So if you've felt mentally spent lately, if you've been tempted to ghost your goals, your routines, or your dreams, stop for just 1 second, take a breath, and come back to your why, because that's what brings all of us together in this. The routines help. The tiny wins matter. But without your why, you'll always feel like something's missing. This is your reminder to go back to it, not to make it perfect, but to make it personal. Here's what I hope you take away from this today. It's easy to feel strong when life feels light, but the real strength, it's showing up in the fog, in the days where nothing flows, but you still show up, in the moments where quitting sounds easier, but you keep going. That's what Living 95 is all about. Not grinding yourself into the ground, not chasing perfection, but choosing to stay in the game because you know deep down it's worth it. And hey, if you're in that mentally spent season right now, I want you to hear me clearly. You're not behind. You're not weak. And you're not broken. You're building something stronger. And some days, just getting up, putting one foot in front of the other is the win. So if this episode hit home for you, if it reminded you that showing up tired is still showing up, then this is your nudge to keep going. And remember that new thing I mentioned earlier? Well, here it is, the official launch of my Living 95 website. It's live. It's the home base for everything we've been building together. The podcast, the new Drive blog, the Living 95 Wellness Warriors community. It's a private community. You have to apply to join. It's going to ask you a couple questions. I want to keep that community private so you can feel comfortable to talk about your issues, whatever they may be, whether it's your health, your mental health, whatever it is. That's why that group is going to be private. It's not something that anybody can get into. And I'm going to have admins helping me run it to make sure that we keep the riffraff out. This is about helping all of us to live happier, healthier lives. On the website, you're also going to find the Living 95 branded merch. So if you want to rock some of the merch and rock Living 95, I also have a t-shirt with the branding on the front and on the back. Hashtag consistency wins. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. The Living 95 website is for everybody to come together as a community. We're starting a community. I wanted a community where we can all gather. The website is raw. It's real, and it's designed for real people like you and me who are tired of all the extremes and ready for sustainable, life-giving change. You can check it out right now at www.living95.com. I'm going to have it linked down in the bio. You can go right there, click on it, and check it out right now. That way you'll get all of the updates of all of the things coming in the future. And trust me, this is just the beginning. If this episode spoke to you, please do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, subscribe so YouTube pushes this out, so Apple pushes this out, so Spotify pushes this out, all of the platforms where I send this out. I need your subscribes so that way the algorithm knows to push it out. And then do me one more thing. Share this with somebody. I know you know somebody who's stuck in that same fog. We're not meant to do this alone. Let's build something together. And as always, stay healthy, stay balanced, and keep driving forward. I'll see you next time.